Right-wing influencer Candace Owens caused a frenzy online when she claimed she is the target of an assassination plot from French President Emmanuel Macron.
Just when you think the Candace Owens story can't get crazier, she somehow finds a way. We're going to break this down, plus so much more, in today's episode of the Brad vs. Everyone podcast, my daily show where I take on all the craziest ideas from across social media and the internet, all from an independent political perspective. And up first, guys, we have got to talk about YouTube and podcasting star Candace Owens, because listen, do I think she's reliable or trustworthy? No. Do I think she has some extreme takes? Yes. Do I think she's kind of crazy? Yes. Do I find her incredibly entertaining? And do I love a messy woman? Also, yes. So we are going to react to her latest bombshell claims, which, if true, would be really, really concerning and terrible. But that's probably like the biggest if true connotation I have ever attached to a sentence, because these are pretty fantastical and outlandish claims, and she has yet to provide any real evidence. But Candace, the context that you need to know about here is that she's had this long-running feud with the leaders of France, the prime minister, I believe, Emmanuel Macron, and then his wife, Brigitte Macron, who Candace alleges is born male and secretly transgender. I personally have just never really cared very much. I don't care about France, and I don't really care if Brigitte Macron is a guy or not. But anyway, she's had this beef with them. They sued her for defamation, and now she is saying that they put out a hit on her and claiming that they paid for an assassination to be done against her. I'm serious. Things are heating up, and she's now reported this very real thing that totally happened directly to the Trump administration. Here's some reporting from The Hill on the latest developments. Then we'll take a look at some of Candace's tweets. Let's watch.
Right-wing influencer Candace Owens caused a frenzy online when she claimed she is the target of an assassination plot from French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte.
In a lengthy post on X, she says she was informed of the plot by a high-ranking employee of the French government, and goes on to say in part, quote, "After determining this person's position and proximity to the French couple, I have deemed the information they gave me to be credible enough to share publicly that in the event that something happens, in short, this person claims that the Macrons have executed upon and paid for my assassination."
So far, we've got the proof being an anonymous source that told her so, and she says the information is credible enough that she could release it publicly, but not unless something happens to her, which is like, well, then why can't you release it now? The information, the receipts, the proof. Because extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and as we will get into, this is an extraordinary accusation and claim that Candace Owens is making here, but let's keep listening.
Further to this point, this person claims that Charlie Kirk's assassination trained with the French Legion 13th Brigade with multi-state involvement. The head of state of France apparently wants us both dead and has authorized professional units to carry this out. Owens has a history of hostility with the...
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at the Robbie Suave, the host for The Hill, who I like. We're friendly. Just trying not to laugh at this because, listen, it is outlandish. Candace has accused everyone from Turning Point USA to various pastors to the Trump administration and Kash Patel to Israel to now apparently France, all of being involved in Charlie Kirk's death, most of which there's no evidence for. Certainly any French involvement is totally without evidence or proof at all of any involvement, but maybe she'll drop some. Don't hold your breath. You might pass out. Anyway, let's watch the rest of this.
With the Macrons. Most notably, they filed a defamation lawsuit against Owens earlier this year when she claimed that the First Lady of France was born a man.
Owens reiterated her claims about the assassination plot on Sunday, saying that the Macrons have allegedly paid $1.5 million for it. Doesn't sound like enough money to pay for an assassination, in my view, but many people on social media were highly skeptical, with some even expressing concerns for her mental health.
Yeah, count me among those increasingly concerned for Candace and her mental health, because it is giving delusions to me. I mean, of course, I'll leave space for the like 2% chance that this is true and actually happen, in which case it would be horrific. I don't want any harm to come to Candace. And if a foreign leader really did plot to kill an American commentator, that would be a true international scandal and a really grotesque insult and affront to our country that would warrant a serious response. But I'm pretty confident that's not what's happening here. I mean, there's just so much about this that doesn't add up. I mean, she says she can share the credible information if something happens. Why not share it now, Candace? Seriously, if you're going to drop this bombshell allegations, why not provide your receipts? You could say, oh, well, she wants to keep her source protected, but then she wouldn't have said anything at all. The person who's coming to her, because now as soon as she says, I have a high-level source in the French government, they're going to go crack down and find out if the source exists, if the source is in the room with us. Now, I'll explain my theory. I don't think Candace is lying. I think she's probably being deceived. But I will get into that in a few minutes. But I'll say, like, the fact that you even came out with this and mentioned this is already going to prompt a search inside the Macrons and their government for who this source is, if the source is actually part of their government, which I doubt. But yeah, there's no documents, there's no receipts, there's no proof here, and this is an extraordinary claim, so you need to have some real proof before anyone should believe it. Now, what I will also say is that it doesn't make a ton of sense, even on its face, as to why the Macrons would ever take such a drastic step like trying to assassinate Candace Owens. So you could say, oh, well, because Candace exposed the truth about Brigitte, and let's say for the sake of argument that that is true, why would assassinating her help? Nobody logical could think that Candace Owens dying would make the Becoming Brigitte series go away. If anything, it would probably make it bigger. It wouldn't make this accusation go away. And in fact, the Macrons are suing her, so they probably want their day in court. The idea that they would kill her and that the insane risk of that, because if that got out, if they were caught doing that, that would be such an international scandal and would earn them such a huge rebuke and consequences from the US government that it would be worth it to even attempt such a thing just in what? Like to retaliate against somebody who spread an allegation about them that was really upsetting to them. I mean, the allegation's not going away. The documentary wouldn't go away, and it might even make it bigger. It makes no sense that they would actually go there, because the reward or satisfaction of like taking out Candace Owens would be so minimal compared to the massive, massive risk they would be taking with the entire nation that they represent. And why exactly would they even want Charlie Kirk dead? I mean, I know that he was critical of Emmanuel Macron over the years to some extent, but it's not like it was a main topic for him. It's not like he was regularly covering and talking about France and Macron. And there's hundreds of prominent commentators who've made similar criticisms of Macron. It doesn't make sense. Of course, as you'll see, she tries to connect it to Israel. And if it were true, obviously it would be horrible. Like I said, I don't want any harm to come to Candace. I think she needs help at this point, and I just want people to stop trusting her as a source for information. And never say never, I guess, but I think with 99% certainty, I can say that this did not happen. That's my hunch and my theory, at least. Now, I don't think Candace is lying. I don't think she is making this up. I don't think she would do that. However, my theory, and you guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe and like as well as we go along here. But my theory is that Candace was contacted by somebody who claims to be a high-level inside source in the French government and is telling her this information, but it's not true. That person is not actually an inside French official, and the plot didn't actually happen. This person is either crazy or is duping her, is trolling her. We have seen so that she humiliates herself by spreading a fake thing, and that they have convinced her, oh, I really am a French insider, with some piece of information that actually doesn't check out. But she has fallen for, because Candace can be very gullible, she's fallen for many false bits of information or hoaxes before. She's misinterpreted data and facts and documents too many times to count. So I think that's what's most likely happening here. I struggle to believe that she would make this up out of whole cloth and knowingly lie. I don't think she would do that. I think she is being duped and setting herself up for humiliation when nothing comes of this. Now, here's a tweet from Candace that she put out that I also have some further questions about. She wrote, "My show will be off air this week. As an update, both the White House and our counterterrorism agencies have confirmed receipt of what I reported publicly. Emmanuel Macron attempted to organize my assassination, per a source close to the first couple. Also, I will again state that the French legionnaires were involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination, but they did not act alone. For all of you who doubted my claims, you can now look to the President of the United States and our intelligence communities to issue a statement to confirm whether I am telling the truth." Now, these tweets have gone mega viral. This one I just read to you has 13 million views. And whether you like it or not, Candace Owens is a massive media figure. So it's a big deal that she's making these accusations, and the accusations alone are a newsworthy event and frankly kind of a international incident. Just the accusation itself is already going to be like a significant diplomatic development that the Trump administration will have to at least process or figure out how it's going to respond to as far as their relationship with the French government is concerned. But I already have so many questions from this tweet. For one, why is the show going off air? What are you going to be doing all week? Right? That like you're not going to broadcast and speak about this. If you can tweet about it, why can't you get on camera and talk about it? But that doesn't really add up to me. And neither does the idea that she would be so shaken by this that she thinks that, like she needs time off or anything like that, because she's been saying that people might try to kill her, or that they want her dead, or all sorts of things. So while I can understand that thinking this or receiving this tip, if it was a tip from a hoaxer even, would be scary, she has shown in the past when things happen involving her a real willingness to get on camera and discuss them. I don't understand why this would be different. And a lot of people are misunderstanding something important. When Candace says that the intelligence agencies in the Trump administration have confirmed receipt of her accusations, some people are saying, wait, the Trump administration confirmed this? No. They confirmed receipt of her complaint. Like, I don't know exactly what she did, but she contacted them and they're like, okay, we have received this. And that's what they mean by confirm receipt. So somebody wrote in a response to Candace that has over 1 million views, Candace, receipt simply means someone opened an email or logged an online report. It does not confirm your claim, your source, or your interpretation. That is not how intelligence verification works, and you know it. If the President of the United States or any counterterrorism agency believed France had attempted to assassinate an American citizen, the response would not be silence from Washington and an Instagram story from you. It would be a diplomatic crisis, emergency briefings, and an immediate press conference from the State Department. And for the record, not a single reputable source, journalist, agency, or government has corroborated even one detail of the story you're repeating. Not one. You can ask the government to confirm it, but you know they will not, because there is nothing to confirm. Repeating it does not make it real, and silence does not make it true. Now, Candace responded to this person and said, why are you explaining English to me like I'm not a native speaker? I said what I meant. They confirmed receipt of my claims. Obviously, they will have to investigate it and then inform the public as to whether or not I made it up, which I did not. Again, I think it's probably true that she didn't make this up. That would just be a truly, truly insane thing to do, and a career, just to risk your career. I mean, she has done crazy stuff in the past, but that just feels like a bridge too far even for her. And I mean, most people, even people who lie to their audience, that's a pretty freaking big lie to stomach. And I'm not so sure what she would gain out of it other than putting herself back in the spotlight, which she does clearly love and crave. But yeah, I don't think she's lying. I think she's being duped. I think the tip here is probably a hoaxer or a crazy person, and she's just running with it because that's what she does. She often runs with crazy tips or things that aren't true that people tip her off to. And I again have to come back to this idea that she states that French legionnaires were involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. There's no evidence of that. Like, is there any proof? And I can't even keep up with the claim she's making about the Kirk killing now. Israel was involved, now Kash Patel. Oh, and of course, by the way, guys, she says in her original post about all this, that one of the people involved in the squad of French hitmen or whatever is Israeli. Because of course, it has to work that in. It's like, this is too... That feels like a tell almost that this is a fake tip someone made up. I don't know. But anyway, she suggested Israel's involved in Charlie Kirk's death, Kash Patel, Trump, TPUSA, and now France. It's like, I can't even track her accusations at this point. And the other problem is how she's setting this up is almost as an unfalsifiable premise. So for example, however the Trump administration responds to this, to Candace, it will be proof that she was right. So if they remain silent and they don't respond to her complaint, then their silence is deafening, guys, right? Like, their silence speaks volumes. Like, that will be the narrative. Now, of course, if they somehow did confirm her story and said, yes, this is real, then I guess that would be the one outcome where she comes out looking correct, and I would come on here and eat my words and tell you guys I was wrong. This really did happen, and holy crap, that's terrible. But I'm not actually particularly concerned about that eventuality happening. But anyway, the other option is that they come out and deny it and say that we have no evidence of this. We've investigated this and concluded there's nothing there, in which case she just talks again about how they are corrupted and they're in on it and they betrayed Charlie and see, like, this is the deep state, or I must be onto something when they're saying there's nothing there. It really does become a dangerously, like, unfalsifiable or it's impossible to improve wrong, because no matter what happens, they will contort themselves into viewing that as confirmation of their worldview. The confirmation bias is so strong as to be almost impenetrable. And that's what I think is most likely to play out here. But I honestly think this saga is kind of sad. I think Candace Owens genuinely needs help. I don't know. I don't want to try to diagnose her or anything like that. I'm not a medical professional, but the frequency to which she is just losing touch with reality, insisting on things that are obviously untrue, falling and twisting herself into all sorts of conspiracies, while doing it all with this feedback loop that just encourages her to go further and further. It's not healthy. And I really do believe that she needs help and that people need to stop turning to her as some kind of source for information until she reconnects with reality. But that's my take. You guys will have to let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you're subscribed if you aren't yet. Do hit the like button while you're at it and all of that.